Here.
Vice President Rick Webb.
Present.
Director Gregory Washington.
Here.
Director Byron Glennon.
Here.
Director Ben Stewart is not here right now.
Okay, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve agenda.
Second. Motion was made by Director Webb, seconded by Director Washington. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. At this time, I will open the floor for public comments. And being there are none, I will close the public comments and move on to closed session. Items 1, 2, 3, and 4 is posted on the agenda. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
1, 2, and 3.
Huh?
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. I'm sorry.
Second.
Motion is made by Director Glenn, seconded by Director Webb. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. We are adjourned to closed session at 5:33. Back to order. Have a motion come out of closed session? Moved.
Second.
Motion is made by Director Stewart, seconded by Director Webb. All in favor of coming out of closed session? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We are out of closed session at 6:21. Items number 1 and 2, there are no reportable action. And items 3, public employees pursuant to Government Code 54957, appointment, title, interim general manager and interim assistant general manager. The board voted in closed session. It was a 4-to-1 vote with Director Washington as the dissenting vote. And the board voted to appoint John Houghton as interim general manager and Lizette Guerrero as interim assistant general manager. And with that, that is our public report on the action taken in closed session. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order for a regular open session at 6:22. And at this point, I will open the floor for public comments. Anybody wishing to make public comments may approach the podium now. And being as there is no public comments, then we will go into minutes. Items M1 through M4. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Okay, motion is made by Director Glenn, second by Director Washington. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, consent calendar, CC1 through CC4. Have a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made by Director Glenn, seconded by Director Stewart. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, presentations, PR1, update from Kern EDC, presenter Alexia.
Oh, I'll save you. Sveta. And I'm also not Kern EDC. I am one of your Kern County employees. So I am employed by the County of Kern under a grant. If you guys don't know already, I'll give you the quickie summary. There is an office under the Department of Defense. Yes?
Go to the speaker.
Oh,
We can
sure.
record it.
There's an office by the under the Department of Defense, and it is the Office of Economic Adjustment, OEA. And because we have Edwards Air Force Base and China Lake, the newly former mayor of California City, Jennifer Wood, knew about this pot of money, suggested it to Zach Scrivener, who then took it to the county. This is going back a few years. And they went through the process. There was a consultant that came to this area for about a year and a half, did multiple meetings in all the communities, and with that information, they were able to secure a grant for close to $1 million. Don't ask me the exact amount. And 3 of us were hired out of that to meet the goals that they identified. And so we in Eastern Kern County have 3 of us working directly in the county. One is in Rosamond, one is in Mojave. In Ridgecrest, one's in Mojave. I've got Rosamond, Tehachapi, California City, and Boron. And that's that. If you've got any questions. And then I wanted to quickly mention something that I'm working on with Kern EDC, and that is I've heard that folks in Rosamond would like to have a bank. I had no idea you guys didn't have a bank. I won't get into the company yet, but the idea is to bring something called an ITM. So, not an ATM. Instead, think telemedicine. You've got a computer. On that screen, you've got someone live who's basically a teller, and they can do everything you possibly can, banking, as if you were to go to a regular bank, except loans. So if you want to cash your paycheck, you do that right there. That machine can give you dollar bills and down to pennies. And then they have this concept elsewhere in the county, and it's, I think, only a footprint of 150 square feet. They actually do have a live person there that can help folks, and they can open accounts. That's something beyond what an ITM can do. And so when you walk into this small bank, you actually have access to 2 people. The person that's there live that can help you in case it's not working out with the ITM, and then you've got that teller that's there on the screen. And that's what they're proposing right now for Rosamond. Proposing. So that's about all I've got to share. And if you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Give us, good evening. Thanks for coming down. So what else are you looking to do for the community or the region besides something like this? What else, other things are you looking to do?
Without getting very deep into the weeds,
Okay.
you can actually look at the report if you search East Kern Diversification Plan, and it just to be extra careful, Kern County, it'll be the top hit, and that is the full summary. It's some 90 odd pages, and it will state goals within that. And you don't really see that in the report, but each community has very specific goals. I can give you an overlying idea. Education is one. Talent, attraction, and retention is another one. Tourism and marketing is yet another. And then, of course, bringing businesses here and retaining them. So, what you would generally think of for economic development. And the ones for Rosamond fall under those categories. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay. Any others?
Yeah, I want to kind of go back to the conversation about the bank.
Yeah.
Banking, telebanking, that's basically what it would be. In today's technology, we can do a lot of banking on our phone with an app, but at the same time, a lot of people feel comfortable. It's a perception of having a live body to do a major transaction. I'm currently in the process of making a large transfer, and I just don't feel comfortable doing it on the internet. This type of facility, what type of square footage would we be talking about?
Don't quote me on this, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's 150 square feet.
So it's something we probably could set up in maybe the corner at Albertsons or or Rite Aid or something like that?
Possibly. The situation where they've already done this, it was a public-private partnership. So in that case, it was a city building. The city provided the space for free, and then this bank came in and built what they needed to into that space. So that's what they would be looking for here, is to find possibly a business, possibly a community entity that has space that they can offer for free or very low to build this out. Because when you think of what they're doing there, this is not a huge moneymaker for them. So they've got to make sure that the bottom line is very tight.
It would also serve a certain need here in the community, because I'm sure, have those that aren't computer savvy.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All of us have those in all of our communities.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? Okay, super, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have a report from Kennedy Jinx?
They're actually not here today.
Over here tonight? Okay, then we will go ahead and skip that on PR2. Okay, item new business, new business 1. I would like to, I talked with John about this, I think it might be a good idea to table this, because we've got a lot of new information that's been coming in on.
Yeah, I went through and looked at this actual work order. A lot of this work that this one pertains to has already been done as far as doing the research on the blowers and such. So it's to your discretion, but like I said, some of this work has already been included in this price right here.
Okay, but is it, when we discussed on the blower room filtration system, the HVAC system in there?
But that hasn't been.
And will this study cover that, if that's what we have to have done, or is this something we're gonna have to come back?
That may have to come back to.
And also, are they going to consider the airs and blowers versus the magnetic bearing blowers versus the multi-stage blowers?
So I haven't spoke to David specific on the air and blowers, but we are going to give him that information and have them research that. But this particular amendment to their contract is not included in that.
Okay. My only concern is it's not amending the contract, but I just don't want to spend a lot of money going down a path that we have to stop and turn around and go in another direction on it. So I was wondering if, in your opinion, if it would be best to maybe hold off, at least until, a little bit until we get more information, or maybe even until Friday, when we have our special meeting on Friday. Maybe you might have some more information on that by then, because I know that the information's coming in pretty quickly on that.
Yeah, we can do that for MD1.
Okay.
And I'll get you more information on that one.
Because I know when we first put this together with those 225 horsepower magnetic bearing blowers, then it came with the airs and turbo blowers,
Right.
and then we were looking at we talked about the magnetic bearing technology being pretty new, and the one thing that I will say that I do like about the airs and blowers is that when I talked to the gentleman at Park Water, not Park Water, excuse me, yeah, Park Water, but for Adelanto, they have the same system, essentially the Biolac system, the Parkman Biolac system, and they're using the airs and blowers, which means they're using it in pretty much the same environment that we're in right now, and they haven't had any issues with them. So that's why I'm saying, you know, if this 115,750 can incorporate, you know, if we decide to go with the airs and blowers versus the Atlas Copcos, that, you know, it will, the scope of work will cover that. That's all I was trying to see, you know.
Right.
And I was hoping that with maybe in a couple of days you could have that information to us that we could, then we can move forward on it.
Okay, yeah, we can table that one till Friday.
All right, can I get a motion to table MB1 until our special meeting on Friday? Or table it to Friday?
Most of it is going, we're going to table this until.
Till our Friday meeting, give John a couple more days to get
Yeah, I
information.
make a motion to table either till Friday, so additional information received, to the board.
Second.
Okay, motion is made by Director Webb, seconded by Director Washington. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion's been tabled till Friday at our special meeting. Okay, MB2, approve work order number 2019-1 for plan check services not to exceed $20,000. Presenter Brock Smith.
Thank you. Work order 2019-1 is for Kennedy Jinx to perform our plan check services. Most of that plan check service is developers bringing in plans for future developments. We signed a similar work order with Kennedy Jinx in 2018, and we have almost exhausted those funds. So it's necessary to sign another work order so they can continue to do our plan check work as our contract engineer.
That is a pass-through.
Yeah, so as these projects are developed and the projects are built out, when they pay their connection fees to the water district, they also pay their plan check fees. So there may be a delay between the time Kennedy Jinx invoices us and the time we receive the payment from the developer, but that money is paid back to the district.
Second.
Motion is made by Director Glennon, seconded by Director Stewart. Any further discussion on MB2? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, MB3. Approve the purchase of an additional bar screen for the wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $180,000 from Coombs Hopkins. Brock, before you go forward on this, I just want to say that the engineering committee met, and Byron and I, along with John and Brock, looked at several options of the bar screens. The Coombs Hopkins, even though it's a little more expensive than the other ones that we looked at, it's by far a superior product, and it matches exactly what we that we go ahead with the purchase of this bar screen.
I think that pretty well covers it. This is the same bar screen that was presented to the board on February 27th, and then we took it to committee on April 4th for review. We reviewed 2 comparable items, but we determined that this would ensure the necessary treatment for the existing plant and any future expansion of the plant.
And our spare parts that we currently have will work with this unit as well.
Correct.
I'll move on that B3.
Second.
Motion was made by Director Glennon, seconded by Director Washington. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. MB4, approve VHI Manager Consulting Amendment to Professional Services Agreement in the amount of $14,250 plus expenses. Presenter, John Houghton, General Manager.
Yes, in front of you, you have the contract that Brent had sent over, and staff is recommending that we go ahead and do this for the strategic plan.
Any discussion from the board? Do I have a motion to approve MB4?
Second.
Motion is made by Director Glennon, seconded by Director Washington. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. MB5, nominate a board of director to the Public Water Suppliers Representative for the Antelope Valley Water Master Board. Presenter John Houghton.
Yes, so there's 2 seats, actually it's 1 seat, but an alternate also, coming up on the Water Master Board. And we were just wondering if any of you would be interested in sitting on that board. If so, we could put your names in the hat. The seat is coming open, but they may run again. But if somebody wants, Leo, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name. I think it's Thibault. Thibault. And Catherine McLaren from Palmdale Water District. Leo is from, he's a board of directors from Little Rock Irrigation. And Kathy is the alternate. She's with Palmdale Water District. And it's a 2-year term, but it's for a seat on the Water Master.
Okay, and the benefit to us is?
We would have somebody from East Kern on that board.
Currently have anyone sitting on the board now?
We don't.
East
know.
Kern. East
No,
Kern.
it's Public Water Suppliers is who we have sitting
Yeah.
on the board, but there's nobody from East Kern.
There's 2 seats for all of the local parks and parks. I make a motion that Director Washington applies, take his name in.
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Greg Washington.
Okay.
But yes, it should be you.
Okay.
That was my first thought when.
Excuse me.
And we will close nominations on that one. All in favor of nominating Director Washington for the position of Board of Director of the Public Water Suppliers, Antelope Valley Water Master Board?
So moved.
Second. Motion is made by Director Glennon, second by Director Stewart. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thanks a lot, John.
Okay, Director's reports, comments, future agenda items?
Greg, if I could ask, I remember the staff brought to us her information, so maybe we could invite you as a guest. You can kind of maybe give us some insight about better things we could do. But ultimately, I'm thinking it would be a really good thing for the community as a whole. The one thing we don't have one thing that we all get excited about. We are partial excitement about nothing, we're excited about everything else. I want everyone to get excited about one thing. So anyway, we'll be talking about that, but Lizette did a lot of work pulling that together. She brought in a really good architect. So she said it'll be on the workshop, so I'll just stand by there.
I'd like to comment a little bit on that as well. I was in on some of the discussions, and this conservation park has a lot of layers to it, and it involves everyone in the community. We can have a garden for elders to come out and sit and get a little sun. Innovative ways to put your landscaping together in a way that you'll save water, but we'll have a beautiful landscape. So a lot of intangibles that will be involved with this conservation park, and we'll talk about it a little later. But as Rick mentioned, Director Webb mentioned, I thought Lizette did a lot of good work and research into that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out.
And I'd just like to make one comment. It's not a park, it's a garden. I told you.
Oh, did I say park? I'm sorry.
It's a conservation garden.
Garden.
Okay. Are you done? Okay. And with that, interim general manager's update?
Yes, I went to a class last week on prevailing wage, and it was pretty eye-opening. I'd like to share some of the stuff with some of the committees on prevailing wage and how we do business with some people. I've also attended the Water Master meeting. Not a whole lot going on there that pertains to Roseman, but definitely insightful. We had the inspector come and check out the community center. And we got a 39-page report on the community center. I have not yet gone through it, just got it this evening around 5 o'clock. But the inspector had quite a bit to say, and also recommended that we hire a structural inspector, I'm sorry, I had to do a blank there for a second. A structural inspector to even do further analysis on the building itself because it was out of his scope of work. But there'll be more on that coming to you guys. We did let 39. Yeah. It looks pretty intense. I spoke with Gretchen via email and let her know that the probability of us getting this done by April 30th is probably not going to happen. That we would have council look over all of these necessary fixes before we could even enter into a lease agreement.
All right, well, thank you. I want to also thank John. I contacted him on short notice this week to go take a look at the sewage treatment plant, and he pulled out the stops and got me set up, and Brock gave me a nice tour and got to go look at a lot of stuff firsthand, and thank you very much for that. And it was eye-opening seeing the work firsthand, what you guys are doing out there is getting the infiltration pond done for the infiltration study, and looking at a lot of other things out there. And Brock and I discussed a lot of things, but it was enjoyable, and thank you very much for accommodating me on that.
No problem. We have a passing of a previous director, and we need to do something for Olaf.
Yes, I was going to do that at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
And any questions of our interim GM? Thank you, John. Consulting finance update, Brad.
No update at this time, thank you.
Director of Public Works update, Brock.
Yeah, as two of the board members have seen, the Public Works staff continues to work on this infiltration test basin at the wastewater plant. We've been moving a lot of dirt, 1 acre in square footage, and approximately 4 to 5 feet deep. So we're in the process of that, getting ready to start up the infiltration test at the wastewater plant again. And other than that, Public Works staff has been busy with leaks. When it gets to this time of year, we end up having a lot of service line leaks. So we're taking care of that. One other thing to update the board on is we've been talking about maintenance consultants, fleet maintenance consultants, and we've reached out to a couple fleet maintenance consultants discussing our needs. But in the meantime, what we've done is we've contacted our asset management software company, and they've helped us develop service scheduling and service work orders for all of our vehicles. So we're implementing that for every vehicle, and we have to manually enter all the data the first time for these vehicles, but we now have scheduling and fleet maintenance management within our asset management software.
Any questions of our Director of Public Works? Thank you, Brock. Okay, interim assistant GM.
I attended a live webinar that was presented by CSD attorneys where they were giving a ledge update. And so there's a lot of proposals on the table, a lot of new legislation, and a lot of amendments to existing legislation that would impact special districts. I am following them. I do have a plan to meet with Joe to go over the ones that would impact us. And as I get additional information, I will brief the board at future meetings. I also want to remind you that we do have a special board meeting this Friday at 10 a.m. and a budget workshop on May 17th at 10 a.m.
Great. Thank you.
May 17th?
That's right. Any questions for our interim assistant GM? Okay, at this time, before we adjourn the meeting, it was brought to my attention yesterday that former director Olaf Landsgaard passed away. That would have been Monday night, I believe. that he passed away. At this time, we don't have any details on the cause or anything, but before we adjourn the meeting, I would like to call for a moment of silence and then adjourn the meeting in his honor. Thank you. And at this time, I would like to have a motion for adjournment.
Moved.
Second.
Motion made by Director Stewart, seconded by Director Washington. All in favor of adjournment in the honor of Olaf Landsgaard?
Aye.
Opposed? I will not strike the gavel at this time. We are adjourned at 6:53.